Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, if you are here, I believe you have read my story on the website. Well, if you're not, please do so because we are going to analyze the short story titled Fire in the Sky, written by me myself. The story is about a firefly named Flick who wished to fly into the sky and be together among the stars. I have done an analysis of the vocabulary level of my writing and it been put at a B2 level. But don't be worried, young learners are still able to understand it because I still use a lot of A1 words in the story. And I recommend the story to be taught for upper key stage 2 learners. Well, the technique I use for this story is nested loop. Nested loop is a storytelling technique where you layer 3 or more narratives within each other. You place your most important story, the core of your message, in the center and use the story around it to elaborate or explain that central principle. The first story you begin is the last story you finish. The second story you start is second to last, and so forth. Nested loop work a bit like a friend telling you about a wise person in their life, someone who taught them an important lesson. The first loop are your friend's story, the second loop are the wise person's story, and at the center is the most important lesson or the most important message. At the start of the outermost loop, I talk about Flick questioning himself on how to reach the star, which act as the foundation of my story. And in the first inner loop, I talk about how Flick's grandma, Luna, told him that he needed to meet someone. In the second loop, which marked the second story, Flick met Coco and wise old cricket. Then Coco told the story about a young firefly named Spark. This indicates the start of the third loop and the third story, which is also the central message of my story. After the story by Coco is finished, it marks the end of the third loop, concluding our first story in this nested format. The second loop closed when Flick asked Grandma to explain on why she brought him to meet Coco. The first loop closed, ending the first story, is when Grandma told about the moral story to the Flick. And the outermost loop is concluded when Flick learned that he doesn't need to be a star to share his light with other people. The technique is good for this story because it explains the process of how Flick was inspired towards something and show how a piece of wisdom was passed down to him. In terms of storytelling activity, I suggest a blended activity of finger puppet and one-word story. Students can create finger puppet of Flick, Luna, Coco, and maybe even some other fireflies. They can act out the story with the puppet using one-word story technique. They can start a story with the word star, for example, and take turn adding one word each to see where the story goes. Flick's journey could inspire a fantastical story about reaching the stars, or it could be to a more grounded story about exploration closer to home or to their self. Well, that is all for today's lesson. I hope you found this video helpful and interesting. Don't forget to drop a like. See you later.